Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Today is February 1st, 2022. It is the official day, the first day of the Year of the Tiger, and Tom Brady has formally retired right before Joe Burrow faces the Los Angeles Rams, the team that it all began with for Brady. And, of course, Joe Burrow is the LSU Tiger who defeated the Clemson Tigers in the college championship just before Super Bowl 54. But here's the thing. Tom Brady, he is retiring on the Pope's 46th day of his age, and he's finishing his career with 35 playoff wins. And for years, I've educated about these two very specific numbers with Tom Brady, 35 and 46, and what they have to do with the Catholic Church. And keep in mind, Tom Brady is someone who got to meet the John Paul II, the Pope who replaced the 33-day Pope. If you don't know about the 33-day Pope, he went to bed on the Jesuit order's recognition date, September 27th, and never woke up again, likely poisoned with arsenic. He'd pledged to clean up the mob activity in the Vatican Bank. If you don't know, the Vatican's an independent city-state. It has its own central bank. It's pretty much its own country, thanks to Mussolini, the fascist. But the 33-day Pope killed in a clear Jesuit ritual, and the Jesuits are known for killing people with arsenic. Over the years, we've covered a lot of celebrity deaths in connection to Tom Brady for his rigged championships. We're doing the same thing this year for Joe Burrow through his playoff climb, upset after upset. And for the record, on the periodic table, arsenic equals 33, and it's also the 33rd element on the table. And what I've been educating you guys about for years, if you've been paying attention, is everything from the sports field to the Oval Office to what's in your science book. When you learn this Gematria code, you see how manipulated the information is. So anyhow, Tom Brady finishes his career 46 days from Pope Francis's birthday with 35 playoff wins. Where do those numbers matter to Tom Brady's career? They don't unless you know Gematria, but then a lot becomes clear. In Gematria, based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with numerology, Tom Brady equals 35 forwards, 46 in reverse. Catholic equals 35 forwards, 46 in reverse. Where do these numbers factor into U.S. history? How about the first Catholic president, JFK, number 35, assassinated at age 46? How about Joe Biden, the second Catholic president, number 46, elected exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday and inaugurated on his 35th day of his age? I've been calling 35 and 46 the Tom Brady numbers for years. Tom Brady was the 199th pick of the draft out of Michigan. That's the 46th prime. Michigan equals 46. Just the other year, Harbaugh went over there and shook hands with Pope Francis, and then his tight end fell to the 145th pick of the draft. When you don't use numerology, Catholic's 145. That's why there's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament than Protestant Old Testament, and there's 46 books. All of these numbers are important. 35, the reason the Catholic Church likes that number is because of Genesis 3:5. And we'll bring it up. You know what? Let's just do it right now. If you don't know Genesis 3:5, I'm going to put it on the screen. And I'm going to choose the New International Version so we don't have to read like we're Shakespeare back in English class in high school. Genesis 3:5. For God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Now, what is the shape of the football? In sacred geometry, it's a vesica Pisces, which is the shape of a human eye, the part that you see that's exposed, beyond the eyelids. Sweet lady was having a problem with this because she's like, but the eye is actually a circle. I was like, but the part that you see, love, come on. But here's the thing, you guys. When you just use the alphabetic order, I is 35. And look at the letters that are in I. E the 5th letter, Y the 25th letter, and E the 5th. The square root of 25 is 5. 5 is the 3rd prime number. So all of these numbers have a relationship with 3. 3, 5. I, there's 3 for a human being. There's 2 on the face and 1 in the mind. And that's the one the Catholic Church is after, the mind's eye, the only eye that really matters. Because if your mind's eye is controlled, you can't even understand what's going on in front of your face. It's all interpreted through your brain. And Again, that's what these people are into, controlling the minds so that they have a society of people who interpret things and go along with things the way they want them to. And they distract and divide with rituals by the numbers. But I is 35. And remember, when I first started, well, actually, I'm going to keep it up. When I first started, I only knew the two ciphers on the left, the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with rules of numerology. But Catholic's 35. The areas the Catholic Church controls is called the Holy See, and it's spelled like see, like you see with your eyes, 35. And what was the score of the first Super Bowl? If you don't know, the Packers beat the Chiefs with 35 points. And not arbitrarily. That was with Vince Lombardi, who was Jesuit educated at Fordham, who died unexpectedly at Jesuit Georgetown. And again, there are other ciphers besides the base ciphers. In Septenary and Chaldean, notice, Super Bowl is 35 in Septenary, and in Chaldean, Septenary and Chaldean are related ciphers. They go together. But Super Bowl, 35. Football in Chaldean is 35. And I just want you to see something. In those ciphers, African-American is 44 and 43. Obama was the first African-American president. He was number 44, but he was the 43rd person to be president. It's because Grover Cleveland had a split term. And Donald Trump, who had his first convention in 2016 in Cleveland, might end up having a split term here as well, because if Biden doesn't finish his term and Kamala becomes number 47, remember, he's a good Catholic Jesuit pet too, Trump. But if Kamala becomes number 47, Donald Trump could become number 48 in the 60th election. Anyway, back to Brady, who Donald Trump is a big fan of. If you recall, January 19th, 2017, before Trump took office, he had a 10-minute speech, and he spent over half of it talking about Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, how he was big fans of them. I was like, wow, he's about to become president, and his biggest thought is how big of a fan he is of Tom Brady? Wow, amazing. All of these guys are Jesuit, Catholic, pawns, and puppets. And they might have some skills. You know, Trump has some entertainment value. Tom Brady can throw the ball to the spot and has great arm strength, but not much athletic ability. And again, let's just go through every last detail here. Okay, but Tom Brady, Mr. Catholic, these numbers have defined his career. When we get through this, I'll go back and show you some great examples of 35 and Tom Brady from Deflategate and beyond. So, today, February 1st, Joe Burrow's birthday is December 10th. Let's do some simple math, you guys. Today is February 1st, the 32nd day of the year, right? From Joe Burrow's birthday to the end of the year, December 31st, is 21 days. Add 32 more on. Today's 53 days after Joe Burrow's birthday. 53. You could also say, though, it's Joe Burrow's 54th day of his age in the Bengals' 54th season. But let's start with 53. Joe Burrow in Gematria has that 46 and also 53. He's got the 46 like Brady. He's got the 53 as well. Now, remember, 53, for the record, religion is 53, okay? It's the reflection of 35. In the NFL, there's a 53-man roster. There's a 53 and a third yard wide field. And there's a gazillion 53 rituals that we're talking about all the time. The Super Bowl this year is in Los Angeles, and Joe Burrow's playing the Rams. Los Angeles is 53, just like Patriots, which is how we called the Patriots to beat Los Angeles before the season of Super Bowl 53 began, from understanding this code. There was more to it, but 53 was the big clue. 53 is the 16th prime number. Joe Burrow's the new Joe Montana, who wore number 16, who beat the Bengals in Super Bowl 16. And for you guys who think all this stuff's a joke, I want you to look this up. The San Francisco Gold Rush, let's just start with the word gold. Gold is 16, right? The spiritual shape of the football is the Vesica Pisces. The Gold Rush that the 49ers are named after actually began the year before 49. It began January 24th, 1848, exactly 134 years to the day of Super Bowl 16, where the 49ers beat the Bengals with number 16, Joe Montana, Catholic, educated at Notre Dame. But 134 years. Now, that Super Bowl was in 82. You see how when you run the alphabetic order in reverse numerology, Vesica Pisces is 82? With the alphabetic order, it's 134. And the 53, the game was on January 24th, just like the day the Gold Rush began, a date written 24/1 like 241, the 53rd prime. Go see the two celebrity deaths I covered last week on January 24th. Both celebrities connected to 53 and both supposedly dead from COVID, which equals 53. But this is Gematria, alphabetic order, forwards and backwards with the rules of numerology. You'll only understand the rituals in their totality if you know these 4 ciphers. Okay, so it's 53 days after Joe Burrow's birthday. He's facing the Rams. Like Tom Brady, again, it all began with the Rams. 53 special number because the shape of the football is the Vesica Pisces. Jimmy G, the good Italian boy who just lost to the Rams in the scripted game last week, thanks to the 49er who forgot to catch the ball on defense, he could have intercepted and pretty much put the game away. But Jimmy G, by losing, Jimmy G's now stuck on 53 career games. And keep in mind, he's Tom Brady's backup when they were both on the Patriots. So, Joe Burrow, 53 days after his birthday, the winner of Super Bowl 53 over the Rams retires. The GOAT, right? And now we got this new young blood in the league who we knew was going to be a big thing because they've been making major ritual sacrifices for this man, Billy Cannon and beyond. We've seen what they've done in the past month. It's been very obvious. A lot of people sacrificed in connection to 54. Now, with regards to today being 53 days after Joe Burrow's birthday, again, it's his 54th day of his age. Those are the 2 numbers. You always got to look at that, days after birthday and day of age. And for people who don't understand that, his birthday was 53 days ago. But if you count the day that he turned 25, December 10th, if you count that day through today, that's a count of 54 total days. 53 days later, or 54 total days. Again, it's the Bengals' 54th season. 2 years ago today, I was down in Louisiana educating about all the people killed in connection to the number 54 for Joe Burrow's championship in New Orleans, which equals 54 on a 54-date numerology, with the LSU Tigers over the Clemson Tigers. Now here we are on the first day of the year of the Tiger, his 54th day of his age. Jesuit orders 54. Again, New Orleans 54. Big numbers with the Jesuits. The first Jesuit university, was established by John Carroll while he was 54 years old. That's Georgetown. Again, where Lombardi died. The trophy for the Super Bowl named after Vince Lombardi. And let's not forget, Joe Burrow, his birthday was 54 days before Super Bowl 54 on February 2nd, 2020. Won by the Chiefs in the Joe Montana Bowl. Joe Montana 54. Joe Montana born in 56. Now here we are with Super Bowl 56. So, okay. We should understand the significance of 53 days after his birthday is 54th day of his age. Again, in the Bengals' 54th season, when his college career was defined by 54, where he was connected to Joe Montana, which we were covering back then, and why he was drafted by the Bengals. On his 136th day of his age, the 16th triangular number, which is why Mahomes just laid down in the AFC Championship on his 136th day of his age to the new Joe Cool. The new Joe Burrow, the new Joe Montana, the new number 16, even though he's not wearing 16. Of course, he's wearing 9 like Matt Stafford, like this season began on 9-9, like Jupiter equals 99, the planet that the Catholic Church venerates. Understand, you guys, Thursday is named after Jupiter. You know, we were just talking about 35 and 46. Thursday is named after Jupiter, which equals 99. Again, this season they began on 9-9, now faces the quarterbacks, 9 versus 9. Thursday is 35 and 46, just like Catholic, you see. Named after Jupiter. Jupiter 99. Joe Burrow trying to win the 9th playoff game for the Bengals in the Super Bowl. Just simple things. 54th season. What's 5 plus 4? It's 9 in numerology. Completion. But okay. I have to pull up Jeremy White's YouTube channel. JHW3D. He is the guy who caught this. He was watching Sunday Night Football that night. I was not. We should go back. Jeremy also caught this. In Matt Ryan's 201st game, Matt Ryan's Jesuit educated. The Jesuit order 201. He went to Boston College, which equals 54 as well. But in his 201st game, they had to put up this stat about Matt Ryan in 201. And again, when you pay attention, we're going to get to 201 with today's ritual in a moment. But I got to show you this one first in case you forgot this. Because again, it's Tom Brady, number 12. Today he's retiring February 1st, the 32nd day of the year. Tiger 32, NFL 32, America 32. 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo. America's game. Scottish equals 32. American football is credited to a Scottish Rite Freemason, Walter Camp. The 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite shares the motto with the Jesuits at Marum Dei Gloriam, which equals 116, like Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., like Tampa, Florida, like how he went to Tampa the year of the 116th World Series. Tampa goes to the World Series. The Lightning win the Stanley Cup. Brady wins the Super Bowl. But here, before all that, I just want you to go back and see this Monday Night Football lesson on 12. And notice they're not going to teach you Gematria, but it was Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. SNF is 12, the acronym. Tom's 12. Tom won the game, but here's what they did before the game. Shout out to Jeremy White for catching this and recording it. Otherwise, it could have been a lost artifact. But watch this. You don't think the NFL's into numerology? Watch. It's 1/2. He's retiring.
Gillette Stadium, so much on the plate tonight for an appetizer. Into the field of Michelle DuBois on the show.
Well, Al, for centuries, the number 12 has been used as a measuring stick. 12 months in a year, 12 eggs in a dozen. And in the case of tonight's 12s, you could say we're measuring greatness. In numerology, the number is quite special. The number 1 is a prime number and signifies the beginning and the singular nature of the universe. 2 is about seeing two sides of any situation. Diplomacy, partnership, and the mutable nature of life. And if you're a 12 person, you're known as dynamic and energetic, unafraid of pushing boundaries. You're often at the center of the action, preferring to be around people, as well as assuming a leadership position. Ring a bell? And then there's this, Al. 12 is the most worn number by quarterbacks already in the Hall of Fame. Pro football's ultimate measuring stick. And eventually, Canton is going to have to make room for 2 more.
You bet, Michelle. Meanwhile, good news for Rodgers, who told us last night in our meeting he was going to try to play if the doctor said it was okay.
So, Rodgers doesn't have a connection to 12, and he lost the game. But I do want to show you something about Rodgers and Tom Brady, because we're going to get into this piece next. Aaron Rodgers is from the Bay Area, like, where Joe Montana played, where Brady's also from. Aaron Charles Rodgers, you see how his full name is 201 and 93? Look at Order of Illuminati, which was what the Illuminati was named by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. Order of Illuminati is 201 and 93. And remember, heliocentrism, the Jesuit model, which we go by, science goes by for how everything goes around the sun, it's 201 and 150. Where Illuminati is 150, they say the sun is 150 million kilometers away. Notice how Illuminati is 120, like how a football field's 120 yards. And don't be the bozo to say, no, it's not, it's 100, because each end zone's 10 yards. It's 120, which is also 12 in numerology, like 12 months, like 12 hours in the morning, 12 hours in the evening, everything being about time in the sun. Jesuit order, 144, square root of 144 is 12, 1,440 minutes in a day. In Jewish gematria, which we'll get to in a minute, time is 144. But when you put the in front of it, which is very important, the Jesuit order is 201. Just like how the first Jesuit pope is Pope Francis, the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. Pope Francis, the Jesuits are from France. The last French pope was the 201st pope. Pope Francis's birth name is Jorge Mario Bergoglio. Again, we're going to get to where 201 fits in today with Tom Brady's retirement on the first day of the year of the Tiger, and remind about his history of 201 with the Rams. So look, we're going to get rid of the base ciphers, as I've always taught. Outside of the base ciphers, the next most important cipher to know is Jewish gematria, and I want you to see something. The word tiger is 201 in Jewish gematria. Rams is 201. Remember, Tom Brady picked up his 201st career win against the Rams back in 2016, and if you don't remember that, I'll show you definitive proof that he did. And the other thing is he's retiring on a Tuesday, named after Mars, the god of war. The Romans, the Jesuits, a military order. I don't know if you guys caught it before the Bengals-Chiefs game. If you recorded the game, go back and look. You'll see I'm not tripping. Again, it's Catholic, right? Catholics are known for pedophilia and raping of children and sexual assault. And that's because of their whole, indoctrination of, celibacy, which is not human. They think they're of God, but did God make a man to go without sex? No. I mean, anybody who's grown up as a boy knows that by the time you're age 12, 13, 14, you're waking up hard as a rock every day. That wasn't a sign from God that you're supposed to just keep your dick in your pants for your whole life. And that's why these guys, who are doing this unnatural stuff, what they end up doing is taking advantage of children. And, it's mostly that we know about the molestation of boys, but I'm sure it happens to girls too. Anyway, 201. Huge number with Tom Brady's entire scripted career. Indianapolis is the only city in America that equals 201. Don't forget, this year on Pope Francis's birthday, the player for the Colts, the lineman, his child supposedly died. And by the way, it was Pope Francis's birthday is Saturnalia. Saturn worship is 201. The Jesuits are all about Saturn and the sun. And where Saturn is 93, the Colts player who lost his child on Saturnalia, the Pope's birthday, he was born in 93. And again, from that player's birthday to the death on Pope Francis' birthday was 201 days later. And then the next day, the Colts beat the Patriots, Tom Brady's old team, in Indianapolis. And it was Taylor with the long run, putting the game away with 2:01 left on the clock. We documented it all then. You can go back and look. But with regards to Indianapolis in 201, again, that's the team Tom Brady got his first career win against. I want you to go back and look at what happened this year on April 5th, a date that can be written 5/4, like Jesuit Order 54. March Madness ended in Indianapolis. And you might recall Elgin Baylor, the great basketball player, he died. He died at 86, and then Baylor ended up winning the championship with 86 points. For the record, Jesuits 86. But from Elgin Baylor's birthday, which if I remember right, September 16th, from his birthday to the championship was 201 days later. And then the Baylor Bears, Baylor University, by the way, equals 82 like Loyola. They won the 82nd March Madness. But Elgin Baylor, he played at Seattle University, which is one of two Jesuit universities in Washington State. There's only 27 Jesuit universities in the nation. 2 are in Washington State, named after George Washington, who the first Jesuit university in the country is named after, Georgetown. But, again, Elgin Baylor dies at 86. Baylor wins the championship with 86. And who did they beat? They beat Gonzaga, the other Jesuit school in Washington State, named after Aloysius de Gonzaga. Whoops, I missed a U. He's got a U in his name. Aloysius de Gonzaga, which is another 201. See how his name's 201, 258? Order of Illuminati's 201, 258. I'll show you another guy like that. William Henry Gates, that's Bill Gates, who was the co-sponsor of Event 201, the coronavirus simulation, who then after that, his dad died on the 258th day of 2020. Bill Gates established his vaccine alliance on the 258th day of his age. Across the street from the Space Needle, the world's biggest needle. I mean, there's a million things to say about all this stuff. But this year in Indianapolis, we also had the college football. Oh, hold on. With regards to the basketball tournament, the coach of Baylor who won the championship, he went to Butler in Indianapolis as a student, and he won the championship 201 days before his upcoming birthday. So this year, if you are following me, for all of you guys who are on the free and don't subscribe to the Patreon where I put out picks, and continue to write, you never pick anything, I've never seen any pick. Why don't you dumbasses go back and watch what I uploaded on New Year's Eve, showing you why, I showed the footage from September 10th, the day that I said it looked like Georgia was going to beat Alabama in the football championship, synced up with Pope Francis, and why Georgia would get their 25th win against Alabama on the Pope's 25th day of his age, when Pope is 25, and Vatican's 25, and Devil's 25, and Pope Francis is fascinated with the devil, and there's the famous song, The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Again, we covered that September 10th, why Georgia should beat Alabama, why it was about 25, and that's exactly what happened. But I did put that out for free for all of you guys who aren't subscribed to Patreon on New Year's Eve. So, again, for all of you guys who leave comments like, I don't see you predicting anything, understand, you're a moron. For 5 years, the first 5 years I was here, I put out everything for free and called a gazillion things correct, sports and beyond. I don't have anything left to prove. If you weren't here back then, I'm sorry, you should have been a truth seeker. You should have been typing in things like Rig Sports, because back in the day, the Google search engine let you find my work, and that's why it used to get way more views. But I don't have anything left to prove, you guys. You know, you think Brady's the GOAT with his 7 championships? I got like 7 million championships, literally. Anyway, and for all the people who get mad at what I'm saying, fuck you. I'm speaking facts, you know? Don't get jealous and hateful because I showed you how the whole game's rigged and who's carrying out this evil. Anyway, 201. Let me show you what they did in the college championship with 201. Look at this. Look at it. Look. Georgia, Indianapolis, 201. Look at how they do it, you guys, over and over. Vince Dooley was the last Georgia coach. The last Georgia coach to win the championship. And how many wins do you think he had with Georgia in his career? But I just want you to see how it all comes together. Vince Dooley, on his 129th day of his age, when his name's 129, Georgia wins the championship. And understand, the number 129 is 201 in base 8 counting. We just had Brock Lesnar win the Royal Rumble in St. Louis, the old home of the Rams. When every year I'm showing you how the WWE and Super Bowl synced up. The old home of the Rams, St. Louis, Brock Lesnar wins Royal Rumble 201 days after his birthday on 129. 129 is 201 in base 8 counting. That's why Georgetown equals 129. But Vince Dooley, he's in Indianapolis, 201 land. And again, here's how the math works for base 8. For those of you guys, for a lot of you guys who are the trolls and stuff, you'll never get it because you guys can hardly even count. But notice, in his career, Vince Dooley, here it is right here, 201 wins. You see? 201, big shit ritual in the college basketball championship in 201 land. Then it becomes the big ritual with the college football championship in Indianapolis. And it's synced up with Vince Dooley, the last guy to win it. And I didn't realize this part until after. And notice the part about during his 25-year coaching career at Georgia. Remember when it was all about 25 when the Falcons lost to Brady? On 2/5, Falcons 25. Brady comes back from 25 in the 97 season. 97 is the 25th prime. The reason I did the video on September 10th pointing out Alabama and Georgia in the 25 ritual is because the Week 2 game was 97 days from the Pope's birthday, the 25th prime. By the way, Pope Francis, the only Super Bowl he ever blessed was Super Bowl 51, and it was on his 51st day of his age, and Rome's 51, and there were 51 points scored in this year's championship because all this shit's connected. By the way, Cincinnati is another 51, like Rome, where the Jesuit school is. 51 days after Burrow's birthday, there's 51 points in the game, and Burrow's on his way to the championship. When a weekend earlier, Regina King, after turning 51, sacrificed her son. Regina means queen, and Cincy the Queen City. Anyway, notice Vince Dooley's from Mobile, Alabama, where one of the nation's 27 Jesuit universities is. But again, you guys, these are rituals, and all roads lead to Rome. And if you can't get your head around it, I want you to understand, you are a product of this New World Order Jesuit cabal. You're what they wanted. Dumb, stupid, ignorant, easily misled, easily controlled, easily exploited, bent over, easily fucked in the ass. And they knew you would like it, too. That's who all of my critics are, you know? Gaping assholes who like getting raped. And this is how they do it, by the numbers, you know? Okay. So Tom Brady and his big history of 201, I did a video on this in 2016, and I didn't understand really the Jesuits in 201 back then. I had my big breakthrough with understanding 201 coincidentally, while I was down in Louisiana exposing, Joe Burrow's ritual murders for his rigged college championship. But it's because we were looking into Event 201 put on by the Jesuit Klaus Schwab, the coronavirus pandemic simulation right before the coronavirus outbreak. And I started to realize real fast how important 201 was to the Jesuits, and I started to go back and look through my old notes, and I was like, look at this. But ESPN, they didn't do a story about the road to 200 for, Tom. They didn't do an article, The Road to 200 for Tom Brady. They did the article, The Road to 201. Tom Brady won his 201st career game on Sunday, making him the all-time winningest quarterback in NFL history. How did he do it? Let's dive into the numbers. Notice he won 26-10, 36 points, the Jesuit acronym IHS 36. The Jesuit order, the 201 gang. As we just showed in Jewish Gematria, Rams equals 201 like Tiger. He now retires on the first day of the year of the Tiger. right before Joe Burrow, the Tiger, who he looks like he's passing the torch to, plays his Rams. History repeats itself. And again, 26 is a special number. 26 is a special number. You know, I was showing back then in here how Rams is 201 in Jewish. But game equals 26. God equals 26. Papacy equals 26. Tom Brady has retired today exactly 26 weeks after his birthday. Exactly 26 weeks. You know, people look at these athletes like they're gods. The game is God for so many people. They're not in church on Sunday. They're watching the game. That's their God. And I'm not saying you should be in church. You know, I if you guys don't know how I went out, I probably was about 12 years old when it happened. But the last time I was in church as a child was after getting kicked out of confirmation class. And the pastor, you know, he told my mom that I was invited to come back and speak with the graduating. Everybody got to go up in front of the church, you know, where the minister speaks, and give their spiel about, you know, what Jesus was to them or the church was to them for their confirmation. But our pastor was Pastor Jake, and he invited me back so that I, you know, could be with the rest of my confirmation group. And he said that I had a chance to say something too, and I still remember. I still remember what I did. I went before the church, and I explained how I was kicked out of confirmation for asking questions about things that didn't make sense in the Bible, and they didn't like how I was asking questions. And I said, you know, essentially that I think the only reason anyone believes in this stuff is because you guys are just believing and not thinking and not questioning. And I said, I still think there's a God, but I think this religion is a bunch of nonsense. And I just remember how everyone looked at me like they were completely shocked. And but that's who I've always been, you guys. I'm not afraid to speak in front of people. I'm not afraid to stand up for the truth and what's right. And I think religion's a huge part of the problem in this world. And I saw it clearly back then as a child. And you know, not to toot my own horn, but everybody's always known that I was smarter than pretty much everybody else in the room as a child and beyond. And that's why when 9/11 happened, I couldn't believe that everyone was fooled by it because it was so pathetic. It was such an obvious lie, but it's also what made me figure out that everything was ruled by the numbers. I was 18 then, and it was 9/11 Patriot Act and then nonstop Patriots. All of a sudden, this dog shit, bottom of the league franchise for all of my life until then. And some idiot will be like, oh, the Patriots are good. What are you talking about? Again, for the moron who can't listen, the Patriots always suck dick until 9/11 and the Patriot Act. They immediately went to the Super Bowl, and you could see how the whole thing was scripted. Tom Brady should have never won Super Bowl 36 against the Rams because he lost to the Raiders. He fumbled the ball. The game was over until the Zebras came in and reversed, changed the whole thing. I mean, it's just a joke. Tom Brady's whole career is a joke. You got to be a moron to not see it. But here, go back and look at Tom Brady. Here, let's just do it right now. Super Bowl 55 box score. Let's pull it up. How many passing yards did Brady have last year? Super Bowl 55 box score. I know how many yards he had, but I just want you to see. Like I always say, scripted from the final score to the box score. This past week we identified how important 337 was for the games. Stafford ends up having 337 yards. They had to zoom in on the fact that the Bengals were using the ball with number 337 on it as they announced the death of Howard Hessman on his 337th day of his age. But you can see, Brady had 201 passing yards, 201, and then he met with Joe Biden at the White House on the 201st day of the year, which is his wife's birthday, Giselle, whose birthday is July 20th, the 201st day of the year. And remember, every year they show that Tom Brady's with a menorah at Christmas time. Jewish mysticism equals 201. And that's not arbitrary. The most important thing in Jewish mysticism is Kabbalah, where this whole code of letters and numbers comes from. That's why the Jewish state created by the Jesuits, state of Israel, is 201. It's why David Ben-Gurion, who declared it a nation on May 14th, died 201 days after its establishment on December 1st. And where Catholic is 145, like May 14th, 14/5, like 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament, the Jewish section, so is David Ben-Gurion. Okay? I understand. This goes way beyond football, this code. This is how these people have built the world. And they distract you with their football games, with their symbolism all over it by the same damn numbers. But here's the thing. Joe Biden's son, hold on, let's rewind. Let's go back. Joe Biden became senator-elect in 1972. Notice how Jesuit order 72. Notice how President Trump is 72, who's Jesuit educated. Notice how President Biden is 72. Biden's career in D.C. begins in 72. Right after becoming senator-elect, his wife and daughter died in a car crash on Limestone Road. And notice it's 201 and 150. Order of Illuminati, the Jesuit Order 201, Illuminati 150. What's the Illuminati's favorite symbol? The pyramid. The pyramids were made out of limestone. If you look up the pyramid, Great Pyramid of Giza, you see how it's 201? 201, remaining layers of bricks, or maybe it's stones, remaining layer of stones on Great Pyramid of Giza, 201. So how many stones high are the pyramids of Giza? The simple answer is there are now 201 remaining layers. It does say there were originally 210, but there's 201. And remember, they say Napoleon, who's from Napoleon's from Paris, France, like the Jesuits. His birthday is also August 15th, like the Jesuits. But they said Napoleon liked to use the pyramids as target practice. They used to teach this when I was in school growing up. I don't know if they still do, but they say that was something Napoleon liked to do, shoot the pyramids. Would you guys be surprised if these Jesuit fucks purposely knocked off 9 layers to make it 201? Because I wouldn't. They're coding this number over the whole fucking world. You know what I mean? They are the Illuminati. Do you remember the day Aaron Hernandez died in his prison cell and TMZ came out and said Illuminati was written in blood while Tom Brady and the Patriots were at the White House with Trump? Donald Trump's name equals Illuminati. Okay, but 201. So here's the thing. Beau Biden dies at age 46, 201 days before Pope Francis's birthday. And the head of Georgetown, who's a Jesuit priest, he did Beau Biden's funeral and the inauguration of Joe Biden on 20/1 like 201, and his name is Leo Jeremiah O'Donovan. 201-93 like Order of Illuminati. You see? Again, heliocentrism 201, the sun 93 million miles away. The sun, the bringer of light, Illuminati in the light. See how it all goes? When you write out 3 as a word, it equals 56, like light is 56. Like Abrahamic is 56. Genesis 1:3, where God makes light, the basis of the Abrahamic religions. Society of Jesus, did you see how it's 56 and 187? Just like Paris, France is. Like Anthony Fauci, the Jesuit scumbag. Like Washington, D.C. Like Adolf Hitler, who supposedly committed suicide at age 56 and then was protected by the Catholic Church his whole life. In the history book, they say he committed suicide and they never found his body. And not to mention he died in the 56th month, April, just like Lincoln died at age 56 in April while shot in a theater at the end of a war that he was blamed for, like Hitler. Isn't it coincidental how all this works out so perfectly as the Jesuits, create mayhem all over? By the way, the entire American Civil War was a huge Jesuit ritual. All the world wars are Jesuit rituals. The Jesuits run the fucking world. If you guys don't get it, I guess you're just not capable of getting it. Again, you take the knowledge and go back and look at history, it all makes sense. The first World War started with the assassination of Franz Ferdinand by Black Hand, whose symbols look like skull and bones, which is modeled after the Knights Templar, and the Templar cross is in the Jesuit logo. And if I can spell it right, I think it's Red Cross. Yeah, I can't spell it right. However you really spell Red Cross Petit, which is the official thing of the Templars, it's also 201. And by the way, in the Jesuit logo, you have the 3 nails for how Jesus was crucified. Another word I'm spelling wrong. Triclavianism. That you got the 3 nails for how Jesus was crucified. You see the 201 and 93? Crucifix, 93. Nazareth, 93. God's Son, 93. The Christian story begins with the 930th chapter of the Bible. Jesus' birthday is on the same day as the solar man's birthday, which is the pagan birthday to worship the sun. Mithra's birthday is also Jesus' birthday, the old Roman sun god before Jesus, 93. If it's all starting to make some sense. '93 World Trade Center bombing. Then there were 2 towers. Then there was 0. Then there was 1. Then there was Tom Brady, Mr. 201. And let's not forget the Bucks won the NBA Finals the same day the Bucks were at the White House. You know, same Jesuits run the NBA that run the NFL. And you can just go on for days. I mean, the Bucks led the player protest after the Kyle Rittenhouse shooting on 56th Street, and then his lawyer was Mark Richards, which equals 201, who was Jesuit educated, just like the judge was Jesuit educated, whose name equaled the same thing as Kyle Rittenhouse. That was going on in the time of the Ahmaud Arbery trial. The Ahmaud Arbery trial, think about it. Kyle Rittenhouse kills 3 people. Ahmaud Arbery is killed by 3 people who go to life in prison. Ahmaud Arbery, not to mention Ahmaud Arbery was killed on the 54th day of the year, Jesuit order, and his name equals 54. But then the 3 men are guilty on what would have been Ahmaud Arbery's 201st day of his age. Both of those trials started during the World Series that the Braves won, who started out in Wisconsin where the Rittenhouse thing happened, and then are now in Georgia where the Ahmaud Arbery thing happened. And again, the World Series began after Hank Aaron died, and it began 201 days after the anniversary of him passing Babe Ruth in home runs. You don't think they're putting this 201 stamp on just damn near everything? You're wrong. We've been documenting it all. And my new book that'll be out soon, just puts a bullet through all of this. So, and I'm already going 201 crazy with Tom Brady in the book. Here's just one more thing to settle it. And understand, the reason, remember, January 29th, the rumor started that he'd retired, and then they're like, oh no, he's still contemplating, and then they wait for this Tiger Day. But it was January 29th, 129. 129 is 201 in base 8 counting. He's Mr. 201. He has the most Lombardi trophies, named after the Jesuit who died at Georgetown the day before the 1970 season was to begin. And again, just to make sure we got it all. Brady's also retiring. We covered the connection to Burrow. We covered the connection to the Pope. But again, 26 weeks after his birthday, papacy 26, game 26, God 26. Brady finishes his career with 85 career losses. Brady just picked up his 85th loss to the Rams in their 85th season. John Madden just died at 85. I said years ago, if John Madden doesn't die at 83, they'll have him die at 85. Just watch. Brady's 85. When you write out National Football League, you see how it's 85 forwards, 122 in reverse? So is the Jesuit motto, Isus Hominum Salvator. Again, Pope Francis is 85 right now. 85, 122. Pope Francis also 122. And you see how Isus Hominum Salvator is 266. Pope Francis is the 266th Pope, the first Jesuit Pope. When he spoke in D.C., he spoke there on the 266th day of the year. Isus Hominum Salvator 274. The Jesuits, not the Jesuits, the Catholic Church began celebrating the birthday of the sun, Sol Invictus, in the year 274 AD. The surface gravity of the sun is supposedly 274 meters per second squared. The Jesuit logo is IHS for Isus Hominum Salvator, inside the sun. The Templar cross is in there, the triclavianism is in there, the 32 sun rays. Again, here we are on the 32nd day of the year. I forget what they did with Belichick at the beginning of the year, but his old coach had a big 274 ritual to start this season. Part of the reason that we saw that the championship looked like it was going to be Alabama and Georgia was because Saban was doing a big 274 ritual that weekend. So, again, you got to know these ciphers forwards and backwards to see it all. But Brady finishes his career with 85 losses. Let me just pull up something, because I want to show you what they did with Ben Roethlisberger, who just retired. Ben Roethlisberger, Brady, 2 of the winningest quarterbacks in the last era. And Roethlisberger's been there they are, both up at the top, right? Most games played in the NFL. Active players who are now no longer active after this season. But hold on. Is it the regular season? Maybe it's the regular season. That's what they did with Roethlisberger. Let me pull up the regular season stats. Roethlisberger finished with 81 losses in the regular season. Pittsburgh Steelers is 81 in the most pure cipher, right? And Hold on, I need to close some windows because my computer's overheating. One second. Okay. So Roethlisberger finished with 81 regular season losses in his career, fitting because it's a number that comes up with the Steelers a lot. But Brady, for his all-time stats, again, he finishes with 85 losses. And the 157 wins at home is fitting because he played for two teams in his career that equal 37. 157 is the 37th prime. Patriots is 37. Buccaneers is 37. Remember, Bryant equals 37 in reverse. 26 forwards. Kobe died on the 26th of January, 37 years to the day of the Bear Bryant anniversary. Kobe Bryant's name in reverse is 157. He died on his 157th day of his age. But fitting for Brady to finish with 157 home wins. Again, the 37th prime. 37's the 12th prime. Tom's 12. Number 12 retires on 1/2. And again, 85. Huge number with the NFL. Huge number with Brady. Gets that 85th loss against the Rams, who it all began with in their 85th season. And again, while the Pope's 85, synced up with the Pope's birthday. Okay, so one more time. Tom Brady, just like Catholic, 35 forwards, 46 in reverse. You see the 98 and 118? Let's type in Patriots. Patriots, 98, 118. Let's type in New England Patriots, 98, Okay, but Tom Brady now finishes his career with 35 playoff wins on the Pope's 46th day of his age. And again, drafted 199th overall out of Michigan, 199 the 46th prime. The big joke the other year with Harbaugh meeting the Pope and Jake Butt sliding in the draft in the Catholic ritual. With regards to the Superior General, the leader of the Jesuits, notice he's 73 years old right now. Last year, Brady got to 7-3 in Super Bowls. 73, the 21st prime to start 21. Saturn equals 21. Saturn has 7 rings like Brady has 7 rings. And he retires on Arturo Sosa's 82nd day of his age. Again, that's a special football number. Vesica Pisces, 82. New England Patriots, who it all began with, 82. Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, 82. And again, you just got the big Jesuit retirement of Roethlisberger, who plays for the Steelers, the team that's publicly owned by the Jesuit Rooney family, and he retired on Art Rooney's birthday, and retirement's 127, and he retired on 1/27, and Bavarian Illuminati equals 127, which was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. But look, I want to go back down memory lane. I've been talking about Brady in 35 and the Catholic connections and all this for so long. I just want to go back, and we're not going to go through all this. We'd be here all day if I had to go through all the Brady 35 posts. Eric Kester was one of the writers for the Deflategate thing who kept us in the loop about everything going on with Deflategate, and of course his name was 35. And Monica Alba was another writer for the Deflategate, another 35. But I got to show you the Deflate. Understand this. Not only does Tom Brady equal 35, he was born on a 35 date numerology. And I forgot to tell you guys something. Again, QB equals 35, like Catholic. And with it all starting with the St. Louis Rams, again, the first forward pass in NFL history was thrown by St. Louis University, the Jesuit school. And you know what? I got to show you one more thing before we go down Tom Brady 35 memory lane. I just want you guys to see what happened this year with the first ever forward pass in NFL history was thrown in Waukesha, Wisconsin. And I forget how to spell this guy's name. Here, I'll pull it up this way. But if you look this up, the first forward pass in football history thrown by the Jesuit school in Waukesha, and that's not far from where Vince Lombardi, the Jesuit, set up the Packers in Green Bay. But I just want you to see all this. Again, the ongoing research. Oh, hold on. This is Rambo's post. That's not the one I want on it. Okay, Darrell Brooks, first of all, once they came out with the detail of who ran over the people, he'd been released by the Jesuit-educated district attorney at Marquette. R.I.P. to Chris Farley, who went to Marquette, who at the beginning of Tommy Boy, he can't answer the question about John Hancock. He thinks it's Herbie Hancock in his History 201 exam, which is right on the page. And then supposedly he commits suicide in the John Hancock building years later. By the way, John Hancock, the most famous signer on the Declaration of Independence, 56 signers, dead at 56, Jesuits, Society of Jesus 56. But anyway, Darrell Brooks, the Jesuit Order, 20184, and supposedly he ran over people in a red Ford Explorer, and he'd made a music video with that in it. But realize, this guy was just released from jail early by the Jesuits, which is what Fox News went nuts over. Oh, look at what they're doing, releasing all these people. Had they not done this Christmas parade tragedy wouldn't have. Just understand, it's just nothing but a bunch of Jesuit-ass bullshit. But before that detail even came out, here's what I was looking at before they even released that detail, because we didn't have the driver's name at first. What I first noticed is how the entire story was breaking from the mayor's office. Everyone in the media was reporting what the mayor of Waukesha was saying. And I said, what do you know? The mayor's office is at 201 Delafield Street. What are the odds that that's the number in light of what we know about the Jesuits? And realize, and I put out a video on this, and people are like, oh, you sound so dumb. Then 2 hours later, you got the driver's name, and it's 201. What do you know? But when I was looking into this town, that's where I found it. I said, oh, my God, the first ever forward pass by the Jesuit school, St. Louis University, against Carroll College, related to John Carroll, who founded the Jesuit University. And it was on 9/5, September 5th, and the Jesuits were credited to counter the 95 Theses. But, you know, I just, when I looked at that, I was like, okay, there's definitely something going on with why the mayor's office is at 201 in this town. And again, Tom Brady's whole career defined by, you know, what he's done against the St. Louis Rams, first forward pass out of St. Louis University, college and pro synced up year after year. Georgia wins the championship. Now, Matt Stafford's in the Super Bowl, who went to Georgia. Matt Stafford equals 44, Georgia 44, Super Bowl on the 44th day of the year. Patterns we've educated about for years, over and over. And, again, you guys, the Jesuits. It's not confirmation bias. If you think this is confirmation bias, I got news for you. You're fucking retarded. This is called really good research. This is called probably the best detective work in the history of the world. And for anyone who wants to, get pissy about me saying this is probably the best detective work in the history of the world, show me who's ever done something better. Show me who's ever brought a more convincing case for who runs the New World Order, who's responsible for all this false terrorism, this division, this racial torment, these murders, these rigged sports leagues, and how it's all synced up. Show me who's ever brought together a more convincing case anywhere in the world. Show me, because I'll be listening. And if you can't, then shut the fuck up. That's what most people need to do. You got one mouth, two eyes, and two ears, a sign from God for what you're supposed to do. Do at least twice as much listening and observing before speaking. And for anyone who thinks I need to take that same advice, you see all those books behind me? There's a lot more over here, and there's a lot more I don't own that I've read in my lifetime. I spent a lot of time studying before I figured out what was going on in this world. And then once I did figure it out, I studied for a year more, put the knowledge to the test, and then I began teaching it, you know? And that's why it's been on point since day one. And the reason I'm so sick of people is because I'm fucking sick of people. Bunch of stupid fucking people live in this world thanks to this Jesuit cabal who's chemically dumbed them down, who's made them retarded in school, and now they think they're all fucking smart because they got a piece of paper. Well, I graduated. Who cares, dipshit? You had to have the IQ of a monkey to get through high school. You don't even have to have the IQ of a monkey anymore. No child left behind. Everybody just gets right through the Skull and Bones member. Skull and Bones 201. Okay, hold on. Did we hit all the points? If we hit all the points, we'll go down memory lane here with Tom Brady and the numbers. I think we hit all the points. If you guys got here late, you can rewind the video. But now let's go down memory lane. Let's go down memory lane. I'll show you what's up with this headline if I remember to. That's one we could look at. Lester Williams, first round pick of the Patriots in 82. Dead 35 years after being a first-round pick. This is while Tom Brady was still on the team. Tom Brady now, retires on the 82nd day of the Superior General's birthday. But I just want you to see the familiar name gematria of Lester Williams. You see the 177-201 in his name? We could talk about the 93 as well. But again, those are the Jesuit numbers. The Jesuit order, 177-201. Go back and look at this. Last year, before Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl, the big news story was the death of Captain Tom in the UK, where the Jesuit order's logo's above the door at 10 Downing Street, the Prime Minister's door, which shows who controls the Prime Minister in the UK, the same Jesuits that control the President over here. But the Jesuit order 177-201, Captain Tom was knighted July 17th, 2020, and he died February 2nd, 2021, his 201st day of being a knight after being knighted on 17/7. These numbers come together a lot, 177-201. Catherine the Great, who preserved the Jesuits by rescuing 201 Jesuit priests in the time of their suppression. The only reason she was the leader of Russia at the time is because her husband had been killed with arsenic on July 17th, 17/7. And again, that's the Jesuits' favorite way to kill. And, it's why Biden and Putin met for 2 hours and 1 minute, 201 days after the Ignatian year began about Ukraine. And it's why these numbers come together over and over and over again. And, but, he died while Tom Brady's the star of the team, Mr. 35 himself, and just one of a gazillion rituals. But here, let's go back down these because those ones are a little more depressing. How about this one right here? 35 days later, Tom Brady suspension news. So, Tom Brady's suspension upheld. Now, this news came exactly 35 days after he appealed the suspension, right? And again, Tom Brady's 35, born on the 35 date numerology. And what was he suspended for? He was suspended for the Deflategate game. The Patriots won that one with 45. There's other numbers that matter too. New England equals 45 forwards and backwards. Brady's retirement at age 44 comes in his 45th year of life, but New England's 45 forwards and backwards. IHS, Jesuit acronym, 45. 45 is the 9th triangular number. The word son is 9, So anyway, in the Deflategate game, I just want you to notice that Brady had 35 pass attempts in the Deflategate game where they did about a gazillion 35 rituals with all the drawings we got to see of supposedly what was going on in court with Tom Brady and breaking his cell phone by the numbers. I mean, I was just talking about 35 day after day with the whole Deflategate thing. And, again, in case you guys forgot, Deflategate was also with Indianapolis, right? Indianapolis, who he got his first win against, the 201 thing. Again, it's the same thing his whole damn career. And here, there's a lot of things we could say, but I'm really just scanning for 35s because, again, I know I've done so many posts on Brady and 35 over the years. Hold on. I know the year of Super Bowl 52. Super Bowl 52 was on the 35th day of the year. Of course, that's the one where Brady lost to the Eagles. Super Bowl that we knew was going to be the matchup after week 3 from understanding the code. Hold on. Maybe it would have been better if I would have went through and taken the time to pull out some of the really better 35 examples, but you can only get so many posts on a page. Hold on, which one was this? Oh, no, that's this. Let me see. Scanning for 35s. Oh, yeah, the word suspended is 35 as well. Just Brady was suspended at the beginning of that season. Garoppolo was getting the starts. Stafford does have that 35 connection too. It's weird because I just did this and was scanning 35s and better articles were coming up, like the rituals that happened 35 days before Super Bowl 52. I don't know if it's random each time you search. But anyway, the point is just it's such a huge number with Tom Brady's career, so it's so fitting that he finishes with 35. And realize Tom Brady lost to the Rams, picking up that 85th loss. Had he won, he would have got his 36th career win, like how he beat him in Super Bowl 36, but instead it ends there on 35. And yeah, I thought this would work out better. But the point is, I mean, I've just been talking about Tom Brady and 35. I mean, I can't tell you how many times over the years I talked about Tom Brady and 35. So, Kraft ecstatic that Brady's been vindicated. And the word ecstatic has Gematria 35. It's just, again, 35 attempts in that thing. Tom Brady, 35 Deflategate headlines. What was it in this one? Oh, the 305 story about Deflategate. It's just, again, you pay attention to timestamps, you'll just see what they do. Tom Brady in court August 12, 2015 by the numbers. And here was the evidence he was in court, you guys, right here. Totally believable. And August 12, 15 was a date with 35 numerology. Oh, yeah, and that's right. When Tom Brady came back from his suspension, his first game was against the Colts, just like how Deflategate was against the Colts. Just Indianapolis 2-1. It's just a total joke. Anyway, I mean, if you've been here over the years, you know that I've called 35 the Tom Brady number, 46 also his number. So, again, I mean, it just goes to show, like I've said, it's clearly a Catholic thing. And who could argue now? Who could argue now? He's retired 46 days after the Pope's birthday. Pope's birthday is December 17th. Today's the 32nd day of the year. 14 days to the end of the year from the Pope's birthday, plus 32 more, 46. And you know what else? We could say one more thing. It's 46 days after the Pope's birthday. It's also the Pope's 47th day of his age. Brady's played in 47 playoff games because his record's 35-12, like he wears the number 12, like he now retires on 1/2. But 47's a number that matters there with Francis and the Vatican. Vatican has that Gematria 47. Francis has that Gematria 47. And if you use the base ciphers, France is 47. The first Super Bowl in the 47th season of the NFL. Tom Brady finishes his career with Tampa Bay, which is another 47. So, and let's not forget it's synced with Joe Burrow, who's synced with Billy Cannon. And where did Billy Cannon die? In case you forgot, let me just pull it up. Billy Cannon died in Francisville. And he died on May 20th, 2018. Again, the same day Joe Burrow went to LSU. The same day in history, Ignatius Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, was shot with a cannon. St. Francisville. You know what's wild about that? May 20th is the 140th day of the year, so that means he died 154 days after Pope Francis' Saturnalia birthday. And notice Saturnalia has got that 154 in it, just like ritual sacrifice. St. Francisville, Louisiana. Unbelievable. And then again, Billy Cannon. What are the teams he played for in the NFL? Drafted by the Rams. Again, he won the Heisman with LSU, the only player to win the Heisman with LSU before Joe Burrow. Did it in 1959. Now the Super Bowl's on the 59th day of the Pope's age, Pope Francis. Where Pope Francis is 59, Tiger is 59 forward, 76 in reverse. The Super Bowl in the year of the Tiger, 76 days after Joe Burrow's dad's birthday, on the Pope's 59th day of his age. The 59th presidential election, 46 weeks after his birthday, Biden becomes number 46. Now Tom Brady's done 46 days after his birthday. Tom Brady met with Joe Biden on the 201st day of the year. You know what I mean? See how it all comes together? Oval Office to the White House. But his NFL teams, Houston Oilers, who are now the Titans, Oakland Raiders, Kansas City Chiefs, and drafted number 1 overall by the Rams. The 4 teams that Burrow plays. Like I said, if you have this knowledge and you pay attention, it shows the whole league scripted. The only way to make sure that Burrow faces these 4 teams that Billy Cannon played for is to make sure the whole league's scripted so you can get that exact outcome, so you can get that exact scenario. And year after year, when you're aware of it, you see how it all lines up. I mean, we're talking about the same kind of stuff year after year. That said, we got it more figured out than ever this year. And once again, Billy Cannon finished in 1970 with the Chiefs. At the end of the Chiefs game, if you watch my clip, I got it on the channel. You know, they're showing you the back of the 70 jersey. Francis, 70. Vatican, 70. College championship, sync with the Pope. Super Bowl, sync with the Pope. And for all of you guys who can't appreciate why it was a tough call between the 49ers and Rams, had the 49ers been in the Super Bowl, it would have been their 59th playoff game. And Pope Francis is named after St. Francis of Assisi, just like San Francisco. San Francisco, Pope Francis, both equal 122. On the 122nd meridian is San Francisco. Satanics 122, the Church of Satan established there. I mean, if you can't appreciate that, it's just because you're dumb. If you can't understand, like every retard has the same line. It's just funny, like how retarded the populace is. They all have the exact same lines. If the games are rigged, then you should be able to call every outcome then, huh? It's like, okay, where's any logic to that? So does that mean because every movie that you go to watch in the theater, because it's rigged and scripted, does that mean at the start of the movie you can automatically say that everything's going to happen in the movie and predict the ending perfectly? I mean, sometimes a movie you can't see how it's going to end. It's like, it's so obvious. But again, I mean, if you guys had, even like a room temperature IQ, you wouldn't leave the comments you do. And that's the problem. You don't have a room temperature IQ. It's fucking freezing in your brain. It's a fucking blizzard. But yeah, drafted in 60 was Billy Cannon. And understand. He dies in Francisville, right? I was just saying Pope Francis is Mr. 59. That's why Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year for him. Billy Cannon's 59. LSU Tigers is 59. For the record, the Jesuits created modern Freemasonry, which is another 59. 59 is the 17th prime. Mason is 17. Modern Freemasonry began in 1717. The Illuminati in this nation were established 59 years later. Masons and Jesuits. But doesn't it make sense why Billy Cannon died in Francisville? And you know what? If I on Gematria Effect News 24, I did the video on Nick Cannon impregnating Johnny Manziel's wife. And if you missed my work on Nick Cannon's child's death on December 7th, the news was announced. Hold on, I gotta close some windows again. Let me pull this up for you. Let's do the Nick Cannon piece so you can understand how far it goes and how sick it is. And again, it's ritualistic breeding, what they're doing. But Nick Cannon, last month, he was in the news because his child died. 201 days after the Ignatian year began. 201 days after Ignatius of Loyola was shot by a cannon. Ignatius of Loyola 201, the Jesuit Order 201. That was the first ritual. And not to mention on Pearl Harbor Day, which was a big Jesuit false flag, just like 9/11 to get us in a war. That's what they do. But Nick Cannon impregnates Johnny Manziel's ex. Johnny Manziel taken number 1 overall by the Cleveland Browns, not far from the Cincinnati Bengals. Ohio, the birthplace of football. But look at Nick Cannon's full name. Nicholas Scott Cannon, 75105, like Cincinnati Bengals. Look up Zach Taylor's birthday, the coach. You'll see it's 10/5, May 10th. The woman he impregnates, Bree Teesey, 129 like Bengals, like Howard Hessman, dead before the game on January 29th, who, again, played the sitcom about Cincinnati. And notice what day Bree TC's birthday is, May 4th, 5-4. It's the Bengals' 54th season. Today's Joe Burrow's 54th day of his age, or 53 days after the birthday. And from Nick Cannon's announced death of his child to the news breaking on January 30th, the day the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, was 54 days later. And if you go back and look, the news did break December 7th that his child had died, but the story was, he waited 48 hours to announce the news, and we understood why. It was 201 the Jesuits. But the child died December 5th. So that means the child died 56 days before this news, and it's the year of Super Bowl 56. And where Jesuit orders 54, Society of Jesus is 56. And by the way, you want another one? When Joe Burrow won the championship on the 54 date numerology in New Orleans 54, Ed Orgeron, his coach, had 56 wins in the regular season before winning the championship. And check this out. You want to know how scripted it all is? Again, the Notre Dame coach, like Joe Montana, just went down and took the job at LSU to replace Ed Orgeron. But notice, Ed Orgeron's 60 right now, like Bengals, but his birthday is July 27th. Check this out. I can't type because I have a bandage on my pointer finger. I sliced it off last night making dinner. Hold on. Boom. Ed Orgeron, who won the championship with Burrow as a Tiger 201 in Jewish Gematria, with 56 wins in the regular season, now sees his quarterback in Super Bowl 56, 201 days after his own birthday. Isn't it something? I might have to go back down to LSU. I made friends with a lot of those students. I can give them we were really good at this 2 years ago when I went down there and educated. I'd say we're at least twice. I haven't been doing better with my predictions, but just in terms of understanding what's going on in the world, I'd say I'm twice as far ahead as I was 2 years ago. But anyway, Nick Cannon, 54 days later. Notice it's 7 weeks and 5 days as well, because again, his full name 75, Cincinnati Bengals 75. And again, for all of you guys who are like, yeah, you're using multiple ciphers. Okay. Joseph Lee Burrow. What's his full name? 75. Also 213, like the day of the Super Bowl. 192, like how Tyshawn died 192 days before he beat the Clemson Tigers. Like how Fifth Ward Weeby died right before the game, whose birthday was 19/2. Weeby, 113, like LSU Tigers 113, who won it on January 13th. Now he's in Los Angeles, CA, 113. But, and don't forget, the 54th governor of Louisiana died right before the championship. The Nancy, I forget her last name, the news anchor died 150 days before the championship to end the 150th college football season. Her name was 54. And again, Illuminati 150, created by the Jesuits. Everybody else who died. Boomer Esiason, like I showed you, the Super Bowl sync with Boomer Esiason, the last Bengals quarterback to take him to the Super Bowl 33 years ago. The Super Bowl's on his 303rd day of his age, while he's 60, where Bengals is 60 and 129 in reverse, like we just talked about. Cincinnati Bengals is 303. If the Rams lose, they're going to be 15-6 on the season. But yeah, hold on. I'm not even done with this. Again, Bengals 54th season. Trying to get that 9th win with number 9, Joe Burrow. Again, he comes in the league after Super Bowl 54, which was 54 days after his birthday. But here's the thing, you guys. Johnny Manziel, first-round pick into the NFL. He's 29 years old right now. Football 29, Ohio 29. The beauty pageant winner, last seen on the 29th floor, commits suicide the day the Bengals go to the Super Bowl. You see how Manziel's birthday is December 6th? That was the 201st day of the Ignatian year, named after Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, Mr. 201 himself. Again, that's the day that the horse Medina Spirit died, who we predicted to win the Kentucky Derby correctly this year, with the only horse with 20 to 1 odds like 201. It's called the Run for the Roses 201. Churchill Downs. You see where Run for the Roses 201 and 177 like Jesuit order? It's also 75 like Catholic Church. The racetrack is Churchill Downs. It's also 78 like Jesuit. The reason we liked Medina Spirit to win is because the jockey on that horse was the only jockey coming into that day with 201 races under its belt for the season. We said, what a ritual. 20 to 1 odds, Run for the Roses. We know who runs the show. Then Medina Spirit ends up dying on the 201st day of the Ignatian year, December 6th, which is Johnny Manziel's birthday. And then the news about his ex being impregnated was on his 56th day of his age, you see. And realize it was the day after his birthday that Nick Cannon announced the death of his child. And it was the day before his birthday that the child died. You don't think this is a ritual? You think this is all just a coincidence and confirmation bias? Again, if you really think that, if you're the person who watches videos like that and leaves these comments, I want you to know you're fucking retarded. And that is exactly what you are. Retarded means stunted. You are severely fucking stunted. You are the biggest mental midget on the planet. Well, you're tied with 6 billion other people, but that's who you guys are. Your guys' purpose will come when you're in a field somewhere, decomposing, feeding the worms. Finally, you'll give something back to the earth. Again, Johnny Manziel, the 22nd pick. This happens to start 22. The girl's got the perfect name. Nick Cannon's got the perfect name. He's got the perfect birthday. Nick Cannon's name is the same as Lupercalia in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. The Super Bowl's on Lupercalia. And, yeah, I mean, again, show me a better detective. Show me anyone who ever proved more about anything in the world. Show me. In 9 years, I've proven a lot. How scripted the games are, how scripted elections are, who runs the damn show, how people are being ritually murdered, how the news is being contrived and faked day after day. Here, I mean, it's not even hard to understand. I mean, this story right here, on the first day of the year of the tiger, Johnson & Johnson to pay $590 million in opioid claims for purposefully addicting Native Americans. Talk about genocide. I'm going to show you some things. Again, it's the first day of the year of the tiger. 590 million, 5-9. Right. Remember when Tiger Woods supposedly was in a car crash, according to the news, but you never saw any proof he was in a car crash? Then he came back by the numbers, and the day after he speaks about it, the first black golfer to play in the Masters dies. But Tiger Woods, 54 forwards and backwards, always wears his red and black on Sundays, the Jesuit colors. Jesuit Order 54. 54th day of the year. What's Tiger going to do this year in the Masters? The Masters ends 56 days after Super Bowl 56 in the year of the Tiger. Might want to look out for that one. We'll see if we can call the Masters for the 4th year in a row. We're on a 3-year streak of calling the Masters before it started. Just for the record, we had Tiger 3 years ago. We didn't pick anyone else. We just had Tiger. It was Lock City. Boom, Tiger wins it. The year before that, I always forget the guy's name. Justin, whatever it was. Easy ritual. It was all Jesuit numbers. And then last year, we saw how it was all synced up with all the Asian abuse in Georgia where the Masters was. And the Asian guy who became the first Asian golfer to win the Masters, it was synced up with a million different things. 3 years in a row, we got the Masters before the tournament began. Last year's golfer had 40 to 1 odds. Year before that, it was like 10 to 1. Tiger was, I forget, 12 to 1. These are big odds. 40 to 1's the best, though. We'll see if we can get the Masters for the 4th year in a row. Again, you guys, not only have we killed pro sports with predictions, college sports, we've done sports like golf, tennis, and for all of you guys who think it's a joke, again, the joke's on you. People who've learned from me now have a Patreons and are doing the same thing, educating the same knowledge. A guy out there named Bali Go Backwards. He's mastered the PGA. He's calling like 1 out of every 3 PGA tournaments correctly from the start. That's awesome. For the moron out there who's like, 1 out of 3. Hey, moron, when you can get 1 out of 3 at average odds of 20 to 1, here's how that works for the retard out there who thinks that's a joke. 1 out of 3, that doesn't even sound good. That's not even a good percentage. 20 to 1, moron. 20-1. So you bet $100, you win $2,000. Okay, let's say you missed the next two. Okay, you lost 100 of the 2,000 you just made. You're playing with house money. So now you're down to 1,900 earnings. You lose the next one, you're down to 1,800. Well, guess what? You're hitting 1 out of 3. You bet 100 on the next one. Man, you won another 2,000. Now you're up $3,800 just in the last month. Oh, you lose 100, you lose 100. Oh, you hit on another one? Oh, shit, you're up what? You're up $5,600 in 2 months. And I'm not joking. This Bali Go Backwards guy, he's taken what I've taught, and the reason he's so good at it is because golf is his expertise. He knows everything about the history of the sport. He knows all the golfers, so he sees all the little rituals they're doing because it's a ritual week after week from the news to the sports. He saw that the weekend of the Titanic sinking, he's like, oh, I better look into... is the golfer's name Stuart Sink? He had Stuart Sink and one other guy that had a name that made sense. And I think they finished first and second, the two golfers. And we've done it before, too. You know, there was a tournament years ago where we had two golfers with 40-1 odds in the tournament, and they finished first and second. And that's the thing about golf. You can get good odds on a guy to finish in the top 10. You know? And you morons are over here going, I never heard you predict anything. Just shut the fuck up, retard. I got 1,000,000 predictions. Nostradamus who? I can wipe my ass with Nostradamus. For 5 years, I was here putting out everything for free. The last 3 years, almost all the predictions are on Patreon. I don't care about you mental midgets who weren't here before then. Should have been looking for the truth. You never found more truth in your life until you found this channel. All roads lead to Rome. I got a book to finish. All right, we'll leave it there, True Seeker. Thank you for everyone who hits the like. Thank you for everyone who shares the video. And for all of you trolls and haters, you guys are, again, you guys are little choir boys who like getting raped in your ass for the Catholic Church. Know that about yourselves. It's who you are. Mental midgets, lemmings, gaping assholes, ready for pedophiles. I mean, that's who you guys are. Sorry. You should know that about yourself. Till next time, True Seeker.